Hi everyone, Mike Jones here, and welcome to the P45 project, episode 7. And I'm moving forward quite nicely now. I'm really starting to get to grips with some of the questions that I had at the beginning of the week, with what we need to physically be doing to start making some money out of this whole experiment. Again, I have to say, just to put this out there, but both Jackie and Cora, the guys whose team I'm in, are being just so helpful and giving up their time and really is helping me to understand some of this stuff really quickly. And a lot of the time, I mean, the literature is very good as well, but being typically me and a little bit impatient, I think I'm probably just wading in and asking questions rather than just taking the time to read through some of the stuff I probably ought to do. And they've been really, really patient and actually giving me the answers there and then, which especially given the fact that we are on a time constraint here. I haven't got, I can't spend a full-time day figuring all this stuff out. That is just proving to be so useful. So I did just want to kind of make a public thank you for all that help. So yesterday we found out how the money gets made, what we actually need to do in terms of sales to start to generate the income that we're looking for, the £1,000 a week that we'd like to earn. And really, the challenge beyond that was to just start to get to grips with the nuts and bolts of it and know how to do transactions, how to put money into the till, so to speak. So that's kind of what I've been working on today, and I'm fairly blown away, to put it mildly, with some of the systems that are at my disposal. Just to bring this in. Kind of the first area that I came to is the distributor area that's provided to anybody who is a distributor, and this is pretty cool. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff in here. I had a look around. It allows me to see what we've been selling and some stuff like that. It allows me to make orders. There's marketing materials in there, which is good to know. It also gives me details about who's also in my team now. There's some really useful reporting in there. There's already some web banners that caught my eye. I can place orders directly through here. So that's it's good. It's just answered a lot of the questions and how do we get product and how do we go about that whole thing. So that's quite cool. I'm happy with that. I think I'm fairly versed on what I need to be doing, and again, there's quite a few videos that sort of walk through that as well. So that's really good. But beyond that, and really something I thought I would probably have to cover in a future video, because I just probably arrogantly assumed that network marketing companies wouldn't have this kind of stuff in place, and apparently this is quite new to Forever and only really happened in the last year or so. But I mean, for anybody who's from a tech background or IT background or is used to running businesses, when you talk about business operational software and CRM systems, customer relationship management systems, there are a few choices out there, but certainly they all take a bit of time and effort to get into a business. You do need to be reasonably technical to even understand this stuff. And it's a fairly long drawn out process. I mean, certainly I've been asked by clients to do this sort of thing for them, and it's not a cheap thing to do at all, but very, very it's worth doing because you can then track your business properly. And actually, Forever's already got it sorted, so you don't for anybody getting involved. And who doesn't have that background like I do, you don't need to worry about it because the system's already in place, and it's this P45 system, which there is an additional cost there to it. I just signed up for it. I can't actually remember what it was. It was about £10 a month or something. But for those of you that are au fait with tech, when I tell you that this is effectively what this is it's a Salesforce based CRM system, which for anybody that uses Salesforce within their business, it's a very, very expensive, high end, probably one of the best in the market CRM systems. Very impressive to get access to it for a tenner a month as a business owner. I mean, normally that would just be unheard of. And in addition to that as well, they've actually integrated Google Apps, which ironically I use in my other businesses. That's the actual service that I've opted for by choice to manage all my emails and my calendars and my document storage and all that kind of thing. And I mean, I pay quite, you know, I've got quite a lot of users, so I pay quite a lot of money for those services in some of the businesses. And you know, again, I've got instant access to it, and it's like 10 quid a month or whatever. It was that small an amount. I didn't even register it as an ongoing business expense. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty impressive. I mean, it's got this CRM section. You can track leads. There's events in there. There's task management for anybody who needs to run a hands-on business and actually be dealing with people. And this is certainly something I'll be working with my team as they come along on how to effectively do that as from my sales background. It's great, you know. You've got literally a world-class system there for not a lot of money. And the best thing is I already know how to use it all, because it's based on a system that's kind of fairly mainstream, and you know, we can get to grips with quite easily. So we're good to go. I understand how I can now make a sale. So if you want to buy something off me, do drop me a line. I'll be more than happy to sell you something. But joking apart, I think, you know, we are getting to that point now where I need a bit more product knowledge. And it's time to start making some sales and generating some cash and getting on with the whole thing. One of the other things I needed to research on the operational side of things is just what marketing strategies are approved and I'm allowed to do. Obviously, I've got quite an arsenal at my disposal of tools that potentially I could use to market this thing. There are a few constraints, some of which I'm hoping that the Forever Living team will address. I imagine they probably already will be doing. They just relate to you know, literally how the store works. If I just bring this in, this is where the transactions have to happen. And unfortunately, in days gone by, they've had problems with sort of rogue distributors creating, you know, rubbish little websites and putting all kinds of, you know, non-compliant advertising standards information on there, making all sorts of silly claims, and you know, basically causing a bit of trouble for everybody. So to minimise that, the system has to work by which, you know, anybody buying online will need to check out through this, you know, the Forever Living approved official store, which is quite cool. But you know, for those of us in web design, obviously looking at that, it's a little bit behind the times, to say the least. And equally, there's not a great deal of sort of nutritional information and stuff like that about the product specifically. So from my point of view, if I was doing this as an e-commerce thing and I was sending people to that page to just buy it, it's not doing the best job, in my opinion, of actually selling the product. And you know, that makes sense, because, you know, generally speaking, a lot of the sales are done offline through word of mouth, and you know, you can look at the brochure or the distributor can explain it, and that's all well and good. But being from my background, obviously, I want to capitalise on the internet as well and social media. So you know, there's some issues to address with that, which I'm not too concerned about. I think it's stuff we can easily overcome. But it just does, you know, it does add another job onto it, and hopefully Forever we'll get that sorted in due course. But aside from that, I'm quite excited about the other tactics that I am completely allowed to do, and how that's all going to work, because it means it looks like there's some potential to make some sales in a fairly straightforward manner. And you know, and like I said yesterday, that the thing with this is it's not a pyramid selling scheme. It's not, you know, nobody's going to get ripped off at the end of it. And the reason for that is there's a product to sell, and money gets made when the product gets sold, and profit gets made when the product gets sold. So we've got to sell some products if we're going to get involved in this and make some money. So we'll be moving on to that properly next week. I'm going to start poking around, seeing if I can't make some sales in the meantime, and just get an understanding of that. You know, I think tomorrow I'm going to just get a crystal clear understanding on the key products that I want to be selling. I've already kind of come a cropper with that, because obviously I got all these samples in the box that came out, and being a typical Yorkshireman, I thought I'll just dive in and sample some of it. So I poured myself some of the aloe gel drink, which looks like it's got all sorts of benefits. That's quite cool. But just typically, I got a glass out of the cupboard, which happened to be a pint glass, filled it up and started drinking. I found it's not the most pleasant of tastes to drink like that, and thought, this is a bit strange. But anyway, I persevered and got through the whole drink. And it was only later on that that I found out that that isn't how you do it at all. And if I'd only read the instructions, then I'd have realised that you just need a very small amount on a daily basis. So yesterday I was bouncing around like Spider-Man, full of energy off this drink thing that I'd had. But it did sort of just teach me a lesson that I need to perhaps just pay a little bit more attention, particularly when it comes to the products and the details of the products, especially if I'm going to be recommending those to people. So that's what I'm planning to do tomorrow. But in the meantime, make sure you've subscribed on YouTube or on the blog. There are going to be some videos that only people, that'll be exclusive to people that have, are paying attention and keeping up with this. So make sure you do that. But in the meantime, I'd like to thank you for watching today, and I'll look forward to seeing you in tomorrow's video. Bye for now.